All right.
Here we go.
New rule. Smoke detectors are bullshit.
Get them
They
out
should
of
not
there.
be required. They should not be required at any apartments. I hate smoke detectors. They're too sensitive. They go off all the time. If my apartment's filling with smoke, I'll fucking know about it. CO2 detector. Okay, fair enough. I don't want to die in my sleep. But if my apartment's on fire, if I suddenly burn something in my oven, I don't want my apartment filling with a cacophony of noise.
I got smoke detectors in every room. I put the oven on to cook anything, and it will go off. What is this for?
Usually, the first thing I do in an apartment is take out the smoke detectors.
Yeah, I know. Seriously,
and I've endured an incredible injury by failing to do that on time recently. I recently just obliterated my foot by falling off a chair, removing a smoke detector. And it made me unable to really walk or do anything for almost 2 weeks. And it's I wouldn't have had that problem. It's either I had the option of not having a non-smoke detector apartment.
Yeah, you should be able to
should
get
be a
that.
law.
Yeah.
I
or
waive
if I
my
take
right
him
to
out
sue
first.
you
Yeah.
if this place burns down. It's not your problem if my apartment burns down, and then I get a non-smoke detector room.
It's similar to idea for no security airlines. If you just sign a waiver, and you can smoke on the airplane and bring guns and drugs on it as well.
If your life has ever been saved by a smoke detector, you're dumb as shit.
And Felix is saying this as someone whose house burned down. Felix has suffered fire-related trauma and now smoke detector-related injury. So
yeah. No, smoke detectors did not save my family's lives. We were pretty easily able to tell that the house was on fire.
Remember when I set up the smoke detector in that historic theater in Iowa by vaping?
Yep, that was hilarious.
That was.
And then we got back in.
Oh yeah, then
after having to go outside, the entire crowd and us have to stand in the alley behind the place for 10 minutes. And then we go back in. We're in the basement, and then I look over, and he's fucking bringing the goddamn thing to his lips.
Hey, nicotine! It's got this powerful hooks deep inside me. But anyway, I think we all agree though. Fire safety is bullshit, and
Exactly.
the nanny state needs to cut it out.
For dorks who like sirens.
Well, okay, that's the thing, right? If I was a firefighter and I went through my whole career and I put out one fire, I would be sad. I would be sad if I spent 30 years on the job and I never used ladder 49 or whatever the terminology is. I don't really know.
Any of the cool
I never
gear?
got to hit a door with an axe. There should be fires going on all the time. It's a make work program for our fire warriors.
This is a fact, Felix. You're joking, maybe, but there's a reason that most arson is committed by firefighters. They're fucking bored.
Okay,
yeah.
We want to talk about a make work job. I mean, they're making work. No, they're making chili. They're hanging out in their fucking clubhouse all day on the public teat, collecting generous pensions for their. They're not even fighting fires. They're just detecting smoke. Fucking
It is
bums.
true. They are the most cosseted public servants we've got. They get to live together in a cool fort. They get to go
Women
down
just
to-
throw
they get to
themselves
go-
at them.
They got a government mandated dog buddy that they hang out with. Go down the pole. And they make chili for each other every night. It's the homosocial dream, and they get to live it. It's bullshit.
And, family connection here, and yet somehow the FDNY paramedics have a different union than the FDNY, even though they work every day. They work every day, shoveling up bodies from the train tracks or stopping people from killing themselves with fentanyl. So,
You know what I realize, though? What I was just saying, that's classic resentment politics. That's why we're all dragging each other down. I can't be a cool firefighter. Nobody gets to be. The answer is everybody becomes a firefighter.
Yeah.
We all get to live in the tree forts together. We all get to go down the slide.
And we all get a Dalmatian.
And we all get a Dalmatian.
It's like Matt Iglesias' new book coming out, 1 billion Dalmatians for 1 billion Americans.
Can you imagine how cool it would be to fire off one of those giant hoses connected to the fire plug. Like you imagine the power behind one of those things. You
or
could,
using the jaws of life to like.
You could knock a Kia over with that fucking stream.
What? Whose idea was it for like them to get a pole? Like, why don't doctors have the pole?
It's true. The emergency room should have a pole.
Yeah, like well, I mean, if you're a really good surgeon and a gunshot wound victim comes in and they really need you, wouldn't it be cool to like slide down? I guess surgeons are like 63 and they'd like tear their ACLs. But I don't think it's fair that firemen are the only people that get poles.
Yeah, we should all get poles. We need a universal basic pole.
Universal volunteer fire department. Everyone gets a little stipend. Everyone gets some hoses and dogs.
And in exchange,
and chili.
To keep them all busy, no smoke detectors.
Yep.
Exactly.
Okay. Once again, another massive problem solved. Oh, hello there, listeners. Thank you for just peering behind the veil in an intimate Chapo conversation. But it's Monday, March 13th. Let's kick off the week right. So big news from the weekend. Major L taker, major loss of the weekend. Anyone who keeps their money in a bank.
Rookie move.
Absolute fools. Folks, if you keep your wealth in anything other than a series of ingeniously devised dead drops and treasure hunts, then you fucked up. Actually, you didn't fuck up because all these assholes just got their money.
Yeah, they're all getting it back.
Valley.
Yeah,
they're all getting all that money back from the Silicon Valley Bank. But
I gotta
Valley Bank
tip of the cap to the Silicon Valley guys, because this thing happens. Silicon Valley Bank has a run, basically because these idiots are all online together and they spooked one another in group chats. So they're all taking the money out. And Peter Thiel, first among them, salute to the king. Somebody pointed out to me, and my mind was blown, that his name literally is the Reptile. It is an anagram for the reptile.
That was a resist lib.
And it's like, shit, man, you are blowing my mind here.
Yeah,
dude. It's all out in the open. They use secret signals and letters to communicate with each other. So Peter Thiel, the reptile. I mean, it's like Charles Dickens wrote him or something. Could a man
Seriously.
look more like a fucking reptile?
It's uncanny. He drinks blood of the youth. Come on.
Allegedly.
Getting too on the nose. The simulation is breaking down, would say the dickheads who invest in Silicon Valley Bank. And so you'd think when this happens, oh, they're fucked, because this is the least sympathetic group of people you could imagine, because the conservatives hate them because they consider Silicon Valley the woke Death Star, and the libs hate them because they're a bunch of rich guys, just classic class resentment that's going to cut against any of these things. They're in trouble. So what do? They spend the weekend tweeting themselves into a ladder and freaking everybody out, or trying to spook horses to literally like trigger a bank
they were
run.
trying to make a bank run on the rest of the banking system by saying that, like, if they're all doing like the Jimmy Stewart from It's a Wonderful Life, and they're like, you're thinking about this all wrong. The money's not in the safe. The money's in your app, Shitter, the app that collects data from your shit. It comes from Plonk, the app that replaced teachers with AI. If you take money out of the dick measuring app, then they'll all go away.
Yeah, I saw some guys who are like, I'm talking to a lot of founders who are deciding to take their money out of banks entirely. And it made me think, like, and put it like where? Like PayPal?
Under a mattress.
Krugerrands, like in Lethal Weapon 2.
Yeah.
And they did it. They got it.
Yeah.
Not only did they get what they wanted, they're getting all the money back, but they actually did get one bank to
Signature Bank in New York.
Apparently a lawyer's bank that did a lot of crypto stuff.
It was a crypto bank of which Barney Frank got like $1 million to sit on the board of the New York crypto bank and lobby to exempt that bank from the Dodd-Frank banking regulations. Balance sheets protruding, look disgusting.
we love having a government, don't we, folks? We love it.
But no, in 2018, Trump passed it. Like it like changed the regulatory framework for specifically like banks like this, Silicon Valley Bank, which they tried to, and then all the tweets about it like that I've been seeing, they're trying to pass it off like they're like, we're just a local community bank, we're a merchant bank, we're a credit union basically. That apparently 65% of all tech startups had their money in this bank, and the weird thing with this bank is it's sort of like a like a money market or something like to deposit your money in or take a loan from this bank, you had to deposit your money in the bank as well. So that's why all these people were losing their minds. But they got it.
That's like not what a loan is. That's like you have to deposit your money.
Yeah,
like, collateral is one thing, but like I don't. Yeah, so
no, Silicon Valley Bank is a credit union like the Franklin Credit Union.
Yeah. The right wing Hydra has been like kind of fighting itself over this one because a lot of the teal aligned people who like they hate the Fed, they hate Jerome Powell, they hate regulation. They obviously have been nakedly begging for a bailout and they got it. But I saw Kevin McCarthy and like sometimes you just gotta laugh. He said one of the funniest things I've ever seen. He said Silicon Valley Bank was actually known as one of the wokest banks out there.
That's in the Wall Street Journal today.
Yes, let me read the Wall Street Journal.
That's and if you're a right winger who hasn't been begging for a bailout for this bank, if you have no financial relationship with this bank, that's your line. That this bank was like one of the wokest.
And then the right winger is like that guy David Sachs or like Joe Calacanis or whatever, who do have all their money and investments tied up in this bank or a significant portion of them. Their line is they're like, okay, imagine this bank wasn't a Silicon Valley bank, but a small business farmers bank. Bet you'd feel differently about it then.
Yeah.
I know, but okay, two things. The Wall Street Journal line. One, yeah, you're right. Like the bank run was caused by this bank being gay and cringe. But I've got news for them. All banks are gay. All banks.
It's true.
And so this is the line. This is the line from the Wall Street Journal editorial today. Was there regulatory failure? Perhaps. Silicon Valley Bank was regulated like a bank, but looked more like a money market fund. Then there's this. In its proxy statement, SVB notes that besides 91% of their board being independent and 45% women, they also have one black, one LGBTQ+, and 2 veterans. I'm not saying 12 white men could have avoided this mess, but the company may have been distracted by diversity demands. Okay, I would just like to, most people just noted that, they have one black and one gay. 2 veterans for this fucking DEI shit? 2 veterans? That's your problem right there. Someone set up a firecracker, and then they were like, the bank's insolvent. Everyone take their money out.
The fact that, whatever Wall Street Journal guy, I haven't really kept up with the new breed. My favorite Wall Street Journal writer was always John Fund. Because that was just
John Fund.
That was such a good name for Club for Growth style conservative. But I liked him including veterans among the
the stupid groups of, the stupid undeserving groups of losers who are polluting our financial system with their incompetence.
If anyone was bringing their dog to the board meeting and annoying everyone.
I love how we're supposed to pretend that the woke people, the anti-woke people in the media and in government are against one another, that they're not mutually reassuring one another, because they do this stuff. Silicon Valley Bank has their DEI bullshit and their fucking woke board specifically to camouflage their demonic activity. And now you have their enemies among the conservatives taking their bullshit seriously and validating it so that everybody can talk about the fucking wokeness of the bank and not its fundamental practices.
I guess the other thing I've been really enjoying about this averted bank collapse, but it was funny when people thought that they weren't going to get bailed, the depositors weren't going to get made whole again. And by the way, these depositors are being made whole well past the FDIC limit on this, so they're making an exception for these assholes. But the other thing is all the people who are this is an extinction level event for innovation, period. And without these kinds of VC firms and banks like SVB, if this allows to go under, we won't have amazing new apps to talk to each other over Zoom. That's it. And my favorite one is in the effort to make this seem like this is all about these are about paychecks. These are about people who are need to make ends meet or whatever. Was this lady who's a former McKinsey consultant who said she described herself as my family drives a Honda Odyssey and my husband works in manufacturing. What she really meant is that her husband is a manager at this company that produces steel. And she's a former McKinsey consultant. But the best part is the company that she worked on is a subscription service where like the highest level is $6,000 a year. And this is like a tech startup app that will help you make lists and plan birthday parties.
Oh my God!
Wait a minute. With the $6,000, I'm assuming that one, like they also complete the list for you.
It's a birthday party startup, and the name of the company. I'm just looking at this company right now. It's called Strong Suit. The pitch is you found the perfect plan. Now what? And the Strong membership, Strong Bespoke is $5,899 a year, but Strong Suit Bespoke is just $600 a month. $600 a month.
Oh, okay. That's kind of a deal.
And they like Ashley, our co-founder and COO, is the queen of themed kid birthday parties, and like this is what they'll help you with, and it's just basically like, I don't know, like it just creates to-do lists for you, I guess.
If you brought this shit into the Shark Tank, Mr. Wonderful would shoot you out of a cannon.
Well, that's why Silicon Valley Bank needs to exist, right? And like this is insane to me, like thinking like, why if I like as a business, as an individual entrepreneur or as a business, why the fuck would I deposit my money or seek a loan from this like fly by night fucking like a small community Silicon Valley Bank instead of, I don't know, Bank of America or Chase Manhattan? And the answer is that like the real banks that like bad as they are, you know, like do the function of commercial banking, at least as we like try to conceive of it. But the thing is, they would never loan money to these fucking companies that will never turn a profit ever. So they need this fake bank to exist and give them all this fake money. And Felix, I was reading about like what caused this collapse, and it really just comes back down to what you've been saying for months now: is that everyone can be a genius billionaire when the Fed lowers interest rates, but as soon as they fucking raise it 1% or something like that, all of this shit falls apart immediately. And there's no way you can continue to like have this like limitless growth and get like be valued at hundreds of billions of dollars for your birthday party startup app that will never turn a single cent in profit.
Yeah, I mean, I think like we're going to see something like this probably at least once a month for the next,
it's just gonna be whack-a-mole.
Yeah, until the next like zero interest rate period. I think like zero interest rates are just like, it's just gonna have to be a permanent thing.
Yeah.
If we're going to have an economy. Mm-hmm. I just don't see any other way, because like 70% of the companies that exist, all of them borrow $50 billion a year. All of them lose money. All of them have 70,000 employees. Like, what are we doing here?
No, we've hit the end here. The profitability cannot be recovered anywhere in this economy. It's over. All you can do is keep the next quarter going by having an infinite inflow of cash that can allow for like frictionless transfer, and then to create through rapidity the illusion of an economy. Because everything else, it's done. There's no more marrow in the bones. There's no more juice to squeeze here. Like we've hit the end of productivity growth. We've hit the end of profitability in these sectors.
You make a profit if you're like ExxonMobil or JP Morgan, or like, I mean, honestly, some of the car companies, even American car companies, but like everything else just seems to like lose money, with, of course, the idea being that you have to keep loaning us money at zero interest rates and let us lose money until we can achieve 100% market share and then set prices on everything. But I just like, what is the economy even going to be if we don't have 0% interest rates? Because that's the only other thing. The only other thing besides like finance and petroleum are like app companies that give middle class people the experience of having servants that make these things way cheaper than they ever actually could be or should be, and can only exist by virtue of 0% interest rates.
And
so like what else can there be?
The only alternative as an economy, as like a political economy, is massive public spending on infrastructure. Like that's the thing that could be an economy. And like that is the thing that could generate economic activity and keep the wheels spinning.
Well, and like all these
literally
Silicon
impossible.
But these Silicon Valley VCs have not only are they not doing that, they're doing the exact opposite by basically profiting off our decaying infrastructure and not only doing nothing to replace it, but like actively degrading all of it, and trying to where's the profit to be had? Turning jobs like taxi drivers into like precarious gig employers, like to try to zero out labor costs entirely. Like to just make labor costs like a zero line item expense on any business's charts by replacing them with, I don't know, slaves or robots or robot slaves. I mean, and here's the thing. I don't think there's it's worth spending too much time belaboring the hypocrisy here, because hypocrisy is kind of the point about moral hazard and the rich get this carrot, the poor people get the stick. That's the whole point. That's the whole point of having wealth and power, is that you can get your checking account made whole again.
Which is why it's so annoying listening to them po-face and be like, "Oh, I'm a humble Honda Odyssey driver." I appreciate it much more if they were just like, look, you need us. We have you by the balls. This economy exists to serve us. If we pull this out, the political structure cannot absorb that. So they have to do what we want them to.
And the thing is, look, and you can no need to belabor the point too much about these same people and their feelings about, let's say, student loan forgiveness, spending money on public infrastructure, social spending of any kind, and nor all of their accounts of we're really at a bad point when people are cheering seeing people's bank accounts get wiped out. Search search any of these people and the phrase homeless and see how far their compassion fucking extends. But here's the thing. I can leave all of that aside and say, look, it's kind of like Mickey Mouse to bring this up to begin with. But what I truly can't abide is the way these people talk about the shit, the utterly fake jobs they do and the bullshit they create as somehow not necessary to the economy, but necessary to human flourishing and innovation. It's just we need these people cannot even describe what their apps do to a normal person, and they're if the last 20 years of this shit has not made the world a better place at all. It's they ruin everything they touch. And then their goddamn birthday party startup app, I have to hear from these people like they're Leonardo da Vinci or something.
Look, it's generated a lot of wealth. That's what matters.
Oh, yes, yeah.
It is generated for whom? At the expense of what? That's not for us to say. But you can't deny that there are giant, big, disgusting Scrooge McDuck piles of money sitting around in the Bay Area that didn't used to be there. And isn't that what we're all here for? To just make the piles bigger, to stack things up so that somebody gets to swim in them? Not any of us, of course. We don't get to swim in there.
I would love to have a Scrooge McDuck money pool.
Oh, my God. I'd break your neck immediately as soon as you try to jump in there because it's not water. What are you fucking doing? It's a cartoon. Don't do that.
And those gemstones are kind of sharp.
Oh, my God. Oh, you go knee first into one of those things? No, thank you.
I jumped in my money pool and now I have a ruby stuck in my asshole.
Yeah, they made a lot of money for a small number of people. And they, in turn, spent a lot of that money on hideous homes, awful food at pretentious restaurants.
Cars that the steering wheel falls off.
Cars with the steering wheel that flies off when you drive. Yes, that's what we all get. Oh, and also the other thing that got made, a incredible, breathtaking suite of surveillance and coercion technology that will be used against us for the rest of our lives.
Well, once again, I just have to say, you'd probably think differently about this bank collapse if the people we're affecting were good and not evil.
We're not.
So, my feelings about this would indeed be different. But yeah, just make free money for nothing,
free money, baby.
For free. Money for nothing.
It's all. Free. It's only exceptions. There's no rule. That's all bullshit. And if push comes to shove, they will always bail them out. There's no real line. It's all in there for show. It goes
That's
away
the way you do it.
That the sirens go off.
That's the way you do it. That little F slur, he plays the bongos on the CNBC.
There was also this post where the man said he was, quote, not a whore, but a hoe. One is a slut, the other is a prostitute, adding, I'm the one that gets free weed for giving, then a reference to a sexual act. And it was liked by Lieutenant Governor McNally.
Yeah. I don't know that, a lot of times on people's posts, you see the name and you see what they've written and you just press the button that says like.
So you didn't read that post?
I don't recall reading the part about the weed. I know that.
But what about the prostitute?
I might have read that.
Moving on from the bank collapse, though, I do want to touch briefly on my favorite news story of the week and my new favorite political personality. I'm speaking, of course, about Tennessee Lieutenant Governor Randy McNally. Randy McNally, folks.
Randy McNally already sounds like a gay porn star who hosts a travel show.
Okay. When I saw, so like the story here is that the Lieutenant Governor of Tennessee, the state that just made drag illegal and is like very soon to make being gay illegal after that, has voluminous comments on this like Twink's Instagram page where he's just like, oh, you light up the world with your smile, heart emoji, heart emoji. So, and then when I saw those comments and I was like, that's hysterical. Like, I love when old people don't know how the computer works. But then I saw like what this guy looks like, and holy shit, oh my god, he's like if Baron Harkonnen were Southern. Like that's what this dude looks like.
Yeah, if there was like a sort of like a kid's medical dictionary, he would be the entry for what a guy looks like when he's always had a UTI. He's just one of those guys who's like unreasonably red all the time.
Alarmingly red.
He's so red. It's insane.
He looks his face is so just bulbous and creased. It's like the super photorealistic close-ups on Ren and Stimpy.
Yes. Yeah. Like when they go in Ren's ear, he's
deep,
like, oh god, yeah. No, that is what the text. You're exactly right.
He has a similar DM style to the creator of Ren and Stimpy.
Oh fuck! I forgot about that. There is nobody in animation for adults that's untainted.
Yeah, this is a cutaway, but like we were laughing about how in TV, like in regular TV, if you're a producer on like Chicago Fire or like Law and Order, your sex, if you work under Dick Wolf, if you work on normal TV, your sex scandal is that you had sex with a 23-year-old subordinate and like pressured her into it, like a normal, like gross, skeevy sex scandal. If you work in adult animation, your sex scandal is that you Snapchatted an entire middle school and were like making rage comics where you're like, who's ready for the boner monster? I love adult animation.
Well,
scandals compared to regular TV.
I love Randy McNally because like it like his comments on his Instagram comments, like where's the quote here? This is my favorite thing. He says, "I try to encourage people with my posts."
you mission accomplished.
Same.
Yeah.
Honestly, me too. That's why we're all here, to encourage people with our posts.
I like that. As far as I can tell, I've obviously researched the story a lot. He was only commenting on this like one guy.
This one guy.
One guy, yeah.
And like the guys,
you know what he liked?
The guy's posts are like quite provocative, even for Instagram. Like he's showing ass, ass on the
timeline,
ass up front.
Very like Timmy Thick style posts.
But he's Timmy Slim. Like this dude is real. Yeah. But like I don't know. It's just like the Randy McNally. It's just like this old school like gay Republican. Remember Mark Foley? I know we talked about this in the show before, but like the text messages where he's like, "Are you horny?" And the kid, like the intern's like, "Yeah," and he goes, "Cool." It's the same sort of like the encouraging sort of like the encouraging wholesome chicken hawk, going after young rough trade. But once again here, it does no one any service to once again bring up the hypocrisy of this, because it's not that he's a hypocrite that he wants to make gay people illegal. No, he wants to make gay people like legally disposable sex slaves for his enjoyment. And like that's totally consistent with I guess his legal and political aspirations. Randy McNally.
Randy McNally, folks.
What a guy!
He just wants to give you a thumbs up about your posts. Just like somebody's looking and somebody's enjoying.
As long as you're talking about posts and people who maybe got a little too horny or a little too excited, our boy Jordan Peterson is back at it again. And I got to say, And like it seems like he's back on pills because his posts are fucking awesome again. Like he's been killing it
really
lately.
good.
His posts have been really good. And he just has that behind bars energy. Let's put it that way.
Yes.
Because like we also have the Chinese dick sucking factory thing he tweeted out today, where he was like, "This is life under the techno hell of communist China," and it was like the original account ripped it from some like dominatrix porn where these guys are strapped in like leather gurneys and have their dicks like pumped by some sort of like dairy sucking machine. But yeah, no, he thought that was real. He thought the Chinese dick sucking factory was real.
Yeah, it was a type of fetish porn that I didn't know this existed, but it was like, so it's like 3 guys in a bed, and it's a sort of, I kind of liked how it was shot. Maybe David Cronenberg's son shot this. This is one of his movies.
It looked like The Matrix.
Yeah, it had a cool look to it. I mean,
Yeah, green
I don't think I would.
sheen.
It had a green Matrix sheen. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't jack off to this, but I would definitely watch
You'd have
it.
no choice, Felix. We're gonna strap you down and milk you up, buddy.
Right. That's the porn. That is the plot of the porn, though, is that it, like an evil dominatrix nurse is just, extracting cum from these guys, and
try not to come. You don't have a choice, buddy.
One of those accounts where it's like a 61-year-old just stumbling into random things they find online called like, fight wokeness or like fuck BLM, found it and posted it. And I guess Jordan just instantly assumed that's just, that's from an Al Jazeera documentary about China.
They smuggled this footage out.
Yeah.
It's almost like what you're afraid of, what you're horrified by, what you spend a lot of time obsessing over happening is actually what you want to happen because nobody's making you think about this shit.
Yeah.
Many such cases.
You're getting something out of this, dude, because there's no Chi-Coms going door to door strapping people into these things.
That you know
in
of.
China, let alone the United States and Canada. You could chill on this if you wanted to. But for some reason, Jordan, you don't want to. And why is that?
I'm just like I know we talked about it before, but like I'm just like contrasting the hellish dystopian dick milking facility to like the videos that People's Daily China post, which is like my favorite in quotations news account because it's like girl paints the most like detailed portrait of the most detailed landscape imaginable with like a daisy petal.
Yeah,
you said like elephant reflects on waterfall or something.
Yeah, they're killing it. They have a lot to catch up on the Chinese when it comes to soft power stuff, but that's a great tool in their arsenal. It makes China look awesome.
Yeah, we love their state-run media. It's all stuff like that, like villagers amazed by Gibbon.
He's like the one-handed monkey that's like friends with that like monk or the nun or something.
Oh yeah, amazing. Yeah,
and, like, he's got a little juice box. He's got a little juice box. Okay, they give him the jukebox. They strap him into the fucking dick milking machine.
It is such better vibes than Russian state-run media, which is like if the Babylon Bee had 3 million nuclear missiles.
Oh my God, Russian state-run media is so fucking. They just brick after brick after brick. Oh my God. U.S. high schools are requiring students to take a trans class to graduate. Like, okay. Do you have any stories about villagers or elephants or anything like that? No.
And Felix, this pisses me off because as you, I know, and certainly myself, I'm aware of, there's so much great animal content to be had in Russia. I mean,
I know
all the people who live with bears and shit.
They warg. They're wargers.
They like. Okay, I will say that before the special operation to have the world's worst war ever, the owner of Russian Sable, one of my favorite Sable accounts, and Umora, her Sable, they were on Russian TV. But Russian TV now is just all like old like also very red looking men. Just declaring that NATO is sending trans missiles.
It's like we're supposed to care about Russia either because for the Republicans, they're supposed to be our allies against China, or for the Democrats because they're our existential enemy. They are losers.
Yeah.
China.
No.
We got to surrender to them. That's the thing. We have to stop the Republicans and the Democrats from eventually going to war with China, and instead go behind their backs and sign a deal. That's our project. That's what it should be.
What was there was another really good Jordan Peterson post.
Yeah, no, there was another one where he was like, he was saying like CNN, like your work is just shallow virtual signaling, blah blah blah, and it just trails off into like an interconnected series of letters, like your cat just walked across your keyboard you're typing. But look, I think we all know what's going on here with our boy Peterson. I'm sorry, like the tweet where it's just all slurred. Was our boy Agent Napoleon called him Jason Peterson, and I'm just like, I need to see videos of him being like, I don't even know, I sleep, I only hour last night, and then do a review of like a Bruce Willis movie that was filmed last week called Ritual Murder or something.
Yeah,
I'm just thinking about
postmodernist pussy got me acting strange. Somebody asked me about heroism, and I said, "What the fuck is that?"
I am just horrified imagining the food photos. It's like a real close-up of a raw steak in a toaster.
By the way, I don't know, like, was it like the Claimcast guys they've been retweeting all weekend just things from the hashtag carnivore diet, and holy shit.
Oh god.
Like people are so fucked up. People are so bad. They've got like this shit. There's a thing now called meat salads. Meat salads with croutons, but the croutons are pork rinds. I saw that today. I saw someone make a pizza crust out of ground beef. This is a sickness. These people have to be stopped. And I say this as someone who enjoys a good steak. I consider myself a carnivore. I like eating meat, but this shit has got to stop. People are unwell.
I gotta say though, you say this, but I salute these guys for escaping the matrix of liberal neuroticism and fixating on consumption and turning it into a neurotic spectacle for the approval of others, and just being real and based by turning into Victorian fainting couch housewives with their beef tinctures.
And like these people, and they're the thing with all that, they're into eggs too, and like every meal has to have like 15 fried eggs and a giant pat of butter just sitting on top of like just a gnarled piece of beef, like the grayest beef you've ever seen, and then just a big pat of unmelted butter. Now here's the thing, like, this pisses me off because, like, I like to cook. I love to cook a good steak, and one of the best things to like finish a steak is to baste it in butter with like some garlic or thyme, rosemary, or shallots, whatever you want. That's how you finish a steak. But like, just an unmelted just stick of butter on top. Oh, they're fucking up the game. They are fucking up the game badly.
I saw one where a guy cooked his steak with his sink.
What?
But he ran it under hot water.
Oh my god!
To get it gray.
Sous vide.
To get it a nice gray tint. That's sous vide.
That's awful.
Yeah, monstrous. Like, you have missed the point of food.
It's food. It should be about pleasure. You should be like, oh god.
But you have as disordered a relationship with food as every horrified liberal that you're horrified of becoming, of every soyed out urbanite. Congratulations.
I like the guys who do the carnivore diet but take it a step further by doing only raw food.
Yeah.
They also
the tapeworm brigade.
Yeah, those guys, the only guys who are able to do that for extended periods, it seems, are people in like, Denmark and Norway, like those based people.
They probably have like higher food safety standards.
Yeah,
so that
I
they
think
can do it for long enough without dying. Yeah,
I think that's really the only reason those guys aren't dead, because everyone else I've seen try it. I've seen a bunch of Americans give it a shot, and almost all of them have like at least had to go to the hospital.
Shitting out of both ends.
You cannot do that.
Yeah, you can't
America.
go to Kroger and get meat that you're going to eat raw.
Within a week, they will be pulling a Shai Halud-sized tapeworm out of their fucking asshole.
See, like when I was a kid, we used to still do in southwestern Wisconsin. southeastern Wisconsin, used to still do cannibal sandwiches at Christmas, which was ground beef on rye bread, spread on rye bread with pepper and raw onion. And I remember having that a couple times when I was little, but as I got older, it just went away. Like, people didn't even talk about it. And it's because people eventually just started all going to a grocery store where nobody would fucking dare try to put uncooked ground chuck in their fucking mouth.
Yeah,
and these guys are just doing it.
I mean,
like no one in history has ever done.
Raw.
Like, you are not hearkening back to any tradition. No one eats that way.
Right. That's why fire was such a big deal for cavemen.
Yes, that's why we're human beings.
The explosion of the human fucking cortex, for Christ's sake.
And here's the thing.
Meat.
Like I think like raw meat. It's like raw beef can be really, really good, but
steak tartare is good here. Oh my god, one of the best things you can have.
Cannibal sandwiches, by the way, were delicious.
But like those sandwiches, it's not
a special treat you get at a restaurant.
Right,
not something I prepare for lunch every day.
Right. But I mean, like the carnivore sandwiches or steak tartare, it's presumably not just like purchased at basically a gas station. you get it from like a butcher, or you get it from someone who is through a higher line of quality here.
I saw one of these threads someone shared where it was like the sort of the practitioners of the cannibal diet were sharing some statistic or like some factoid where they were like, did you know that human beings only started eating vegetables 10,000 years ago? And like, look, I know the caveman thing is like the caveman diet. They were not eating meat like all the time because it was pretty fucking hard to come by.
Yeah.
They were eating like roots and shit. And they were
hunter-gatherer societies. There's gathering. That's a key component.
They're fucking up the game badly. I mean, I just like, I love a burger. I love a steak.
Oh my god, yes,
yeah.
A well-cooked medium rare steak is like one of the most just perfect simple foods, and to see them just doo-doo all over it.
And also, like, I hate it because, like, say what you will about like the ethics of killing animals to eat them, and like the horrible animal cruelty involved in like the beef and dairy industries. But here's the thing: it's like, if that cow has died, like, I think you need to like, the died to sustain you. I think you need to like show some respect for the life it gave you by not just cooking the shittiest steak on the plate, covering it in fried eggs and butter.
Don't treat one of God's creatures like a tub of Soylent, for Christ's sake, where you're just like sliding it down your grease throat to provide nutrients for your vlogs. I should talk.
It's like the thing I want to talk about. Moving on. Matt, you talked about how like we just need to do a deal with China because like it's the one thing that
behind the backs.
Like the Ukraine Russia thing has sort of like in the mainstream of like the people who run foreign policy or talk about politics or involved in it in this country they're like pretty much aligned on that, but like at the periphery, like a lot of Republicans are against it because Joe Biden's doing it, and then like like people on the left don't want us getting involved in another proxy war to NATO at the expense of Europe and the rest of the world. But the thing is, though, like there is now a new challenger has entered the room. I mean, like they're all on board for escalating tensions with China as well. But there's a new boutique option because they're not. But here's the thing: they're not really going to do that because
you
China's
can't
a
do it yet.
Fucking country.
Well, they have fantasies of disconnecting, but like it's not anywhere near not possible, as we've talked about with Richard Wolff. But like they're not anywhere close to doing that. Can't do it.
Yeah. But here's one thing they can do. Asked to declare war on not Mexico, but Mexico's drug cartels. I don't know if you saw Lindsey Graham this weekend. It was like, I'm seeking authorization to declare we need the Mexican situation has got out of hand. They've got bandoleros and sombreros, and
I would like to work with you to liberate the Mexican people from the scourge of drug cartels. I'd like to work with you to stop the flow of fentanyl into my country, our country, that's killing 70,000 of our citizens. And if you don't work with us, we're going to do it by ourselves.
So, yeah, it's like, and then Josh Hammer writing in Newsweek was like, it's time to declare war on drug cartels. And this is all based on this, like, I think totally spurious idea that, like, they're the main, like, they're killing all these Americans with fentanyl. And, like, so, like, we just need to, like, this is, like, sort of like similar to like was it like the gas versus electric stove debate. I just like in this like demand that we like gin up a war with the drug cartels. I just get this like palpable sense of like nobody really believes in this or takes it seriously. It is just so obviously just a marketing gimmick of like there's that guy, there's that like, another Silicon Valley tech CEO who's running for president as a Republican. That guy Vivek Ramaswamy, I believe his name is, and he's just trying to like. He's going to be the Andrew Yang of the right, and like instead of math, his thing is like we need to declare war on Mexico's drug cartels to stop the spread of fentanyl into America. So I mean, like
the army's got to do something. We have the biggest military in the world. It has to do something. We have to have a project that we all involve with it, that we can vent all of our pent up political frustrations on instead of our actual system. So. It's right there. It's a perfect pretext.
But like, how isn't this like just like whether we should take it seriously or not? Like, isn't this just like the perfect example of just like the absolute death drive of our society right now? The absolute, just nihilistic, just pedal to the metal, straight into the void. I mean, like that's what I read into this.
Yeah, I mean, the weird thing about like the declaring war on the cartels thing is. Well, I mean, it's like we kind of have in the same way that we've declared war on terror organizations, in that like they're action figures that we play against each other. They're like, we're at war with one, we like another. It's the same whack-a-mole game we play with everything. It's like the exact same as the war on terror. Like I don't see how like allocating more money wouldn't result in like just more of the same, just the same result, but bigger.
Yeah, it's the continuation. It's the logical continuation of the war on terror after its failure. Like the war on terror made certain promises. We would fight them there, so we didn't fight them here, with the unstated premise that what we're going to be defending here is something worth living in and worth defending. And meanwhile, while we were fighting them over there, things got drastically worse here, and we reached the end of our economic viability and have been living in this suspended animation of cheap money and steady immiseration for everybody who doesn't have any of it ever since. And it's poisoned our politics, and it's made us search for something else. And so there's an answer now emerging. Okay, we don't, why fight them over there when we can fight them here, and we can make fighting our lives? And we can turn everything into a battlefield. So we have no hope for anything else, but we can find meaning in that struggle, just like the fucking psycho neocons imagined we would do with our war in Iraq.
And like similar to what we talked about with Will Sommer about how like QAnon had to exist to explain why Donald Trump like wasn't building the wall or draining the swamp, and now like invading Mexico is like the answer to like why we're there. Everyone knows we're not building the fucking wall, so you got to give these people the next thing, and that's like this fantasy of going to war with Mexico, which you're absolutely right, Matt. Is like these people want to go to war in America against like, I don't know, liberals and cities or whatever, but Mexico, shit, the country we share the world's largest border with, close enough.
Apparently, Greg Abbott's getting ready to allow posses to operate on the border.
So they can have wheelchair ramps for him.
Anybody who's, everybody's got who wants to put their gun collection to use and is sick of spending the weekend getting the business and the rolling pin from the old missus can just blow off some steam.
I mean,
hunting down migrants in the border area.
Unfortunately, like in reality, this is just going to be like hogs pointing their guns at like terrified Guatemalans, but like. I wish it was just sending these guys into Juarez and going like, go to war, take down the cartels yourself. Let's do this. That would be great.
We need to bring back deadliest warrior, just to be like cartels versus Boogaloo Boys. Let's see who wins that one.
Yeah.
Who would win? Sicario? Benicio del Toro from Sicario, or a guy in a rascal scooter with like 16 tactical pockets on his vet.
A guy who's like who looks like Kevin Smith with like a barn door size Hawaiian shirt on and a fucking and a plate carrier that like goes only over his breasts. How's he going to do against like a guy who's had a gun in his hand since he was 12 years old?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Oh, and I guess as long as we're talking about losing wars, I also very much enjoyed this week people still getting mad at Jane Fonda. Because, like, the hatred and like just be like I spit whenever I hear Jane Fonda's name or like hand away Jane and shit. It's just like the last bastion of like boomer conservative anger over losing the Vietnam War. And it's like, look, I'm sorry, one of the hottest women of all time picked a winner, but you know, she had better judgment than you did back then. What do you want from her? And I gotta say, flicking it up with those North Vietnamese missile batteries is like one of the hardest things anyone's ever done.
She looked amazing. She looked amazing then. She looks amazing now, honestly.
Wonderful at 80 for 80,
Yeah.
or Brady.
80 for Brady.
Effervescence.
I mean, have these people never seen Clute or the China Syndrome? Come on, she's one of our best actresses.
Stream Barbarella.
I know. I saw people in their 20s saying that, like, it's my most boomer opinion, but Jane Fonda should be tried for treason. I had dinner with Jacob Bacharach the other night, and he said caring about Jane Fonda now is like caring about Mata Hari.
Yeah. Trying her for treason is insane because Vietnam is like they are pretty much our ally. Like they hate China.
Yes.
Like I mean, ultimately everything worked out. We got a sitcom ending. Smile.
Yeah. It's like, oh, what if we stop dropping bombs on Vietnam and we start dropping sewing machines? And boom, that worked out for everybody.
Well, the thing that kicked this off was that she was on The View and was asked like, how do we deal with like the, rescinding of reproductive rights across this country? And she said, I don't know, murder a few Republican politicians. I was like, no. She didn't really mean that. She was just, I'm like.
Besides marching and protesting, what else do you suggest?
Well, it doesn't happen overnight. It's not a miraculous. What did you say? Murder.
She's kidding. Wait a second. She's just kidding.
You know, hey, I'm not saying it. I'm just saying watch Clute and then consider what to do about Republican politicians.
Yeah, what she said was right. She was right back then. She's always been right. This always looked great. She was right about, aerobic fitness. That's always good.
Yeah. She was right about Ted Turner being the man.
Yeah. That's awesome of Ted smashed.
She says that he is to this day her favorite ex-husband.
Man, I'm going to be really sad when Ted Turner dies.
When he does die, I hope CNN plays that like video that he prepared for the apocalypse happening.
Yeah.
Where like people stand in a field and sing "Nearer My God" to Thee as they just sort of like boop.
He was like the last cool billionaire. There's never going to be never going to be another one like Ted Turner.
Yeah. Like when he dies, they're not going to put his frozen head in a refrigerator. He's going to have a golden ziggurat 70 feet tall, and it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, he would. I'll miss him.
This is my favorite Ted Turner story. So he, for a while in the 80s, owned the Atlanta Braves. And so one day, I think he'd fired the manager, I forget the details, but he put on a uniform and went down to manage the team. Like he was in the dugout. He was making the fucking lineup cards, and then
AMLO did that for the Mexican team against the USA in the baseball World Classic.
No, he called in. He did the Nixon.
He called in. Yeah, he did the Nixon thing.
Like when Nixon called in to George Allen and gave him plate ideas. No. Ted Turner put on the uniform and managed the team for the whole game. And then after that, MLB came out and said, "Okay, we're not allowing that. Owners can't do that." But that is what you would do if you owned a baseball team.
Professional sports
and he actually did it.
Professional sports would be so much funnier and cooler if they let the owners of the teams try to be like players or managers. Because you would see how fucking stupid, what worthless pieces of shit these guys are. Strap on your cleats. Get out there.
Did they win?
The ones now, they don't even watch the games. They don't care. It's like, if we zero out, again, if we basically pay players as little as possible, get rid of anybody with a big salary and just rely on replacement level cheapies, the share of the TV contract is enough to guarantee us X amount of profit. So why would we spend any money? That's who owns baseball teams now. Nobody who wants to get in the goddamn game.
Did the Braves win the game that
they lost that game?
Oh, that's a shame.
Well, going from Ted Turner to like maybe another guy we have to say goodbye to now. The last thing I want to talk to you about today is, of course, the end of Rod Dreyer's career doing a blog at the American
So
Conservative.
hard to say goodbye.
To Rod is gay. So this is I just want to say this is some media reporting by Caleb Bakarma in Vanity Fair. So basically, like, the through line here is like, I can't help but feel partly responsible for what's happened to Rod, because the most stunning part about this story is something I've always kind of suspected, but it's insane to read it like in print. Rod's entire salary was funded by one donor to the American Conservative.
God.
And look, and listen to this.
He was a literal court jester.
Listen to this. But this is Caleb Karma writing in Vanity Fair. But one particular reader, upon reading that last of said post, determined the blog had simply gotten too weird, according to two sources familiar with the publication. That disgruntled reader was Howard Amundsen Jr., the heir to a California banking fortune and the sole benefactor of Dreher's six-figure salary at the American Conservative. A six-figure salary. And you know what? Like, a lot of people balked at that, but like, nobody can say he wasn't putting in the work.
Absolutely.
This was not a make work. Look, it was a make believe job for him, but it was not a make work job because he was doing work. He was writing 10,000 words a day about trans cartoon characters.
Yeah, it's not like when Instant Pundit would just go like a link and they go, heh.
Yeah.
It got people talking about the American Conservative.
Yeah.
Like,
it's true.
Like, what other articles were people sharing in that time? Like, Josh Hawley is serious.
The only other thing that I know about is the Daniel Larison stuff, which is good.
And I like Daniel Larison.
Yeah, Daniel Larison, because he talks, as long as he's talking about foreign policy, it's very good stuff. So there's that, which, good, but not that, it doesn't have the sizzle of a Rod article.
It's not Larison, as good as he is not it's not viral material. You know what I mean? Like, this is not gonna be blowing up the timeline anytime soon. No disrespect to Daniel. But just reading on here, it says here, the heir to a California banking fortune and sole benefactor of Dreher's six-figure salary at the American Conservative, which is published by the American Ideas Institute, a nonprofit. This unique funding arrangement, a single donor choosing to cover one writer's entire salary, was paired with an even more unusual editorial arrangement. Dreher was allowed to publish directly on the American Conservative site without any revisions or legal oversight, according to the two sources. Dreher, Amundsen, and Emil Dowak, the American Conservative's executive director, did not respond to requests for comment. Amundsen had apparently long admired the work of Dreher, who has authored numerous conservative books and previously wrote for the BeliefNet blog and the Dallas Morning News. But according to two sources, Amundsen began to sour on his beneficiary in 2021 when Dreher, in a blog post debating circumcision, wrote the following, quote, "All us boys wanted to stare at his primitive root wiener when we were at the urinal during recess because it was monstrous. Nobody told us that wieners could look like that. Incredibly, that was the first red flag for Amundsen," one source told me, adding that the rift had been building for about a year. And then one more paragraph I want to get to here. It says, "Some of Dreher's commentary on the gay and transgender communities also proved off-putting to Amundsen, such as his lurid musings on anal sex, rectal bleeding, and the partially rotted off nose of a gay man who contracted monkeypox. At some point, he basically decided, this is too weird." The source paraphrasing Amundsen explained to me, "I don't want to read this or pay for this anymore." So to that I said, I can't help but feel partly responsible because I know us covering the primitive root penis article got some eyeballs to that post, maybe even his sugar daddy himself, who just finally decided, as we have been covering for years, Weird Rod is just too fucking weird. He's not normal,
he did, presumably he was reading every single post that he paid for. I
would hope.
Yeah, I mean,
you seem like that would be due diligence.
Yeah, maybe I'm trying to absolve us of responsibility here, but this is a sad day. I mean, like, I really do hope that like another descendant of Noah Cross, provides a similar arrangement with Rod.
When Nellie Bowles?
Yeah. Hopefully she will provide.
Hopefully
Rod
her and Barry
with,
could. Her and Barry need to sign him up at the free press or whatever bullshit scam they're currently running.
Get him a tenured position in gender.
Yes,
at
Austin
University of Austin.
Yeah, University of Austin. So I guess like this comes down to is like when I consider, like, look, I'm sure there will still be more Rod to read in the future because, he'll just go on Substack or whatever. But I mean, this is an end of an era as like, I consider this show like the prime, we're the Rod beat is really Chapo Trap House alone. And
it's true.
I'd like to think we made so many more people aware of Rod and his beautiful mind. And, but here's the thing. When I consider the situation of Rod right now, no job, no family, and has just recently soured the authoritarian strongman who's been giving him a visa to letting him live in his country as he flees family and responsibility back here in the United States. And I gotta ask myself, like, do I feel like a tinge of sympathy for Rod Dreher and the situation he's put himself in? The answer is, I think, like, we're all human. Like, I feel for Rod and I'm concerned for him. But I do have to say, he has dedicated his entire life to evil. So
yeah,
he has made the world manifestly his work. How shall I put this? Is worship of Satan. He traffics with the Dark One down the left-hand path, and it has clearly driven him insane. And I know on some level, I think he feels guilty about all this. And I think maybe there's some sort of like Freudian self-sabotage going on here to like punish himself for like what he knows is so wrong about him.
Mm-hmm.
And look, reading between the lines of the Vanity Fair post, I do think it is funny. Like, weird here is just a synonym for fruity. And I do think it's funny that he's going to be a victim of he's losing his job due to the homophobia he's spent his entire career promulgating. So, Rod, brother, hope you make it out of Hungary. I don't know, like you can run a Substack anywhere in the world, but I wouldn't stick around Hungary much longer.
Here's a pitch. Fourth mic.
Yeah, Rod
Dreher, fourth mic. Come on out. Come on over. We'll chop it up.
People would love that. Oh my God. People would fucking go apeshit for that. That's awesome. But yeah, like, I mean, maybe look, Rod, open door policy on Rod. I mean, I understand he might be a little reticent to come on a show that has spent years trying to destroy his life. But we couldn't have done a better job than he
we never tried. We never tried to destroy his life. We like talking about his article.
It's an attention economy.
Yeah.
We were stoking the fires of the SS Rod.
Shoveling some more coal into the furnace.
Yeah.
Best of luck to Rod Dreher. Please.
Vaya con Dios.
Yeah. Because you got Tom in your hands now, so if you look, you want that Chapo bump for that when you launch that Substack, man. Because the Daddy Warbucks is that's done now. So if you want to keep writing about ass fucking and dick sucking, and being that keep you in oysters, then you need that Chapo bump. So come on the pod, we'll promo the Substack, and hopefully convince you to stop doing all the evil that you've helped put into the world. All right, gentlemen, let's leave it there for today.
Sure thing. I just want to shout it out.
Shout it out,
President Xi, for grinding out a respectable lunch pail 9-to-5 diplomatic coup in getting Saudi Arabia and Iran to reestablish diplomatic relations.
Amazing.
That clutch move.
I would like to know the name of I know he's out there, the Chinese Henry Kissinger, who probably worked on this.
Well, I look forward to Israel and the United States starting a war with Iran in the next month or so.
Yeah.
Because they just discovered lithium in Iran too, so boy, it's about to heat up over there.
Well, we got to practice on the cartels for a while first.
Yeah. Because dude, if we if we can't get out of the cartel level, we're not going to do good against the IRGC boss.
Yeah,
we got to grind some stats before we enter that boss arena.
I think my conclusion now lately has been that every army in the world is just bad. Like no one's good. Yeah. Everyone sucks. One's good.
The incentives are really against an army being good.
Yeah.
It's like if your army's too good, then everybody gets in trouble. It makes sense to sort of just pretend to be working most of the time.
The only people who I've seen anything from has been Hezbollah, and that was like almost 20 years ago. Like that, true, we there may be no good armies left, which pretty good outcome.
Felix, Hezbollah has Mickey Mouse rings. That was a bubble season war against Israel and South Lebanon. All right, till next time, gentlemen. Bye-bye.
Bye.